Well, hello and welcome back, and thank you for coming back. Today we're going to take you from halfway up Musoi Avenue. That's BMW over there, that's Onyx Cars over there, to give you a bearing. So if you come up here and you turn your car around and you go that way, you get to see a spectacular view, because in the very distance is the blue Mediterranean Sea, which means that that's downtown Cato Paphos Harbour, and that's where we're going to go. But before we do, the girl in charge of the ship, Miss Oching Booth, who just happens to be the most beautiful woman in the world.
Only happens to be. Hello everybody, how nice to see you again and again.
And again. So into gear, hands on the steering wheel, and we're off. So there's BMW, Pilacutus Group. So if you want a BMW or a Nissan, that's where you pop into. So this is halfway up Musoi Avenue. You've got Mega Electric over there, absolute cooling and heating. You've got a bathrooms business over there. If you want a fancy bathroom for your fancy villa, that's where you'd go. You want some overhead cover for the summer, that's where you go. P&S tender. And then if you want a fancy Bentley or something like that, again, you can pop into there. Pan Motors, Pop Life Supermarket, another electrical shop, Plant Fix if you want to make your garden look beautiful. If you want some outdoor furniture for next summer, you've got Sotus DIY, you've got ACS Couriers, you've got an Esso put station, you've got a brakes and tyres place, you've got Christanthu shoes, and if you want some insulation in the winter time, you've got the Renovation Group. Receive your booth.
Mr. Paul,
yes.
Breathe,
yes.
How many?
Well, there's so many businesses on this road, that's the problem. You can't name them all. Oof.
I hope I will not have to give you the pill for breathing.
Pill for breathing.
My mom says, how does this man talking, breathe, Mr.
Yes,
Paul.
breathe. There we are. So we are coming to the, well, slowly but surely we're coming to the lower part of Musoi Avenue. You've got Steptoe's Mega Furniture Store over there on the right hand side. You've got Euro Blinds if you want some blinds. You've got another electrical shop. You've got all sorts of businesses. If you've got the bigger things in your life that you want, Musoi Avenue is probably the place to come. That's from an electric fire to a cooling fan, that's what you need this time of year by the way, to a BMW, a Bentley, a Maserati. You're going to find it on Musoi Avenue. Now, this is the traffic lights. If you were to go left, you'd go onto the outer ring road, which would take you out to the Limassol roundabout. If you were to go right, you'd go to Ember and then eventually to Midtown Tower. But we're going to go straight. And we're going to keep going straight all the way down to the blue Mediterranean Sea. Just over there, yonder on the right-hand side, is a little blue sign with a yellow logo and then some blue and some red writing. And that writing says Lidl. So that means that that is the Uptown Paphos Lidl supermarket. And they do make some very nice croissants indeed.
And not only, I remember you used to buy to me some nice kefirs. It's not a yogurt, but the kefir style.
Yes, it's like a very smooth yogurt, yes.
With a different sort of
cherries
fruit.
And blueberries and not tomatoes.
Oh,
I know tomatoes are fruit. A fruit, but not. I don't fancy tomato in yogurt.
Tomato is a vegetable.
It's not, it's actually a fruit.
Really?
Yes, check it on Google. Mr. Ian, please go and check it out. But I'm pretty sure tomato is actually a fruit. Not that I'd want it with my yogurt, but you never know. Carrefour supermarket is to the left. Now this road has had the life dug out of it, and this bit has been reinstated. Let's go straight, receive your booth. And as you're now going to understand is that this part down here now is having the life dug out of it. But slowly but surely, it is getting relayed. And we understand that eventually it's going to be a very nice road. But at the moment, it's an absolute disaster. Another supermarket to the right hand side. You've got various businesses. Some have survived this absolute disaster because this disaster has been going on for a year. Yeah, you heard me correctly, a year. And some of the businesses have closed and some of them somehow have managed to survive. How? I do not know. A bit further down here is the Honda dealership. Now that's a Gumbaro of ours, Mr. Mario, so if you want to buy a Honda, you pop in there, tell him you know us, and you never know, he might just charge you that little bit extra. So as we work our way down, we've got a printing place there, 2020. We've got the Bionic Superstore selling all sorts of electric products from TVs to computers to points of sale things. We've got the former Bank of Cyprus. They understood they needed to close, so they did. You've got the Corfu Grill, which is a very, very good grill house, and it's struggling. You've got a neighbour of ours from Armu here. This man's George. He does a very, very good pork and kebab. You've got the Karma water purification place there. You've got CT Coffee. I think you get the idea. There's an awful lot of shops and a lot of coffee shops because there's Coffee Lab. You've got Astro Bank if you want to borrow some money. You've got Butchery Boy, that's a butcher's. And as you can see, a lot of carnage. In fact, it looks far worse today than it did the other day. I think they've knocked some more things down, to be honest.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
They have to finish all they started, because otherwise, for example, I remember Natiotis, and I used to buy things there.
Yep.
And they have a very nice athletic
It's like a sports shop, isn't it?
shop.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a multi-brand sports shop.
And you see,
They've
you
now
could
closed
go
that road.
last
Yeah,
week there.
that's right.
Now it's closed.
And this is another problem. One day you can go down a certain part and the next day you can't. So obviously if you're a potential customer for these shops, you just get sick and tired of it and say, I'm not going down there ever again. And of course then you find somewhere else to go and they never ever see you again. So
Yeah.
follow these cars around, Graciebi. That's an accident that's gone on there because the girl in the yellow vest, she's an assessor. So someone's clipped that one in its bottom and done a runner by the looks of it. So let's follow that pickup, Graciebi. He seems to know where he's going. Probably doesn't, but let's keep going. So you're seeing parts of Paphos that no one else is ever going to show you. And of course you're seeing part of Paphos that perhaps you never ever want to go to. But it gives you an insight into Paphos and how it works. That's an interesting property, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
interesting, whatever that is.
Yeah.
We'll have to investigate that one of these days. That's very interesting. So someone's living in a round house. This is now the rear of the Midtown Papa Antonio supermarket. So this is the car parking area, and it's had a brand new facade fitted onto it in the last year or so to make it look all ultra modern. So let's go straight, Graciebi. So that's the front of the supermarket, Papa Antonio. And as you may notice, we do mention Papa Antonio supermarket quite often. I think they've got 4 in Paphos, and then they've got various Papa Antonio bakeries scattered around Paphos. So a very popular brand and a very familiar brand.
Oh dear.
Oh dear,
It's
yes.
huge amount of mountains
Yes.
and little, I don't know, whatever they put it here. How and when it's going to be finished?
I think there's another year to go. And I also understand when they finish this little bit of road here, they're then going to keep going to another bit of road.
Yeah, it's like
And
a chain.
another bit, yeah. So don't be thinking when they've repaired this bit that the misery will be over. It's just going to continue a little bit further down. It's an absolute disaster. And there's a friend of mine who's got a business here. He's an auto electrician and does tyres, and he's there. How do you get to him? Exactly. And you got to feel sorry for some of these people because they've worked hard for years, and then, well, Gumbaru #1 in his suit has decided that this road needs to be dug up. There we go. We understand things have to be done. We understand they need to put down new communication lines. They need to put new drains in. But perhaps they should have spent more time planning it. Anyway, we are rapidly approaching Midtown Paphos. We're going to go straight, but if we were to go right there, we would wiggle and waggle into the old town, and in fact we would go past the pumpkin lady's shop, if people are wondering where it is. So we're going to go, I think we'll go straight, presumably. Yeah, we'll go straight, and then we'll go along that new road then,
Yeah.
which is quite
Yeah,
nice.
that one is very nice.
Yes. So we're going to take you to a road that was closed a few months back, which now has reopened, and the improvements are, should we say, well worth it. But it was dug up with no access, an absolute pandemonium for a year. Just over there is the main branch of Bank of Cyprus in Paphos, and then there's an eco petrol station right across the road to it, and then next door to that is the main Uptown Paphos car park. Big car park, but don't forget to pay if you go in there, because there are little Gumbarus racing around on motorbikes, and they pop in and have a quick shufty, have a quick look. And if you haven't got a ticket, well, that's €25. Simple. Now we have to go straight because you can't go right, because guess what? They've dug that road up as well. But luckily for us, they have put this road back together. Now this is the area where there are schools. This is the area where the mayor hangs out. So he often parks his car just there on the, yes, the chevrons and on the double yellow lights and the double yellow lines, sorry, and walks to his office. It seems to be one law for them and another law for us. But hey, that's called politics. Main CETA branch coming up here on the left hand side. So if you want to get something from CETA or go and pay a bill and you don't want to do it online, that's where you would go. This gentleman here in his Lamborghini has just come down to pay his CETA bill because they're threatening to cut him off. Hellenic Bank to the left, Pit Stop supermarket that was all renovated while they were doing this road. This now is the new part of the road. You can probably notice the pavements are pretty new, the light posts are pretty new, and some of it looks very, very nice indeed. And as we get further down, there are various monuments and little statues. There's one of them that's quite cute. And as we come round the next corner, we're going to come to the Macarius statue and also the former governor residence when it was in colonial times. But we shouldn't talk about that. Anyway, there we are. There's the Archaeological Museum of Paphos District. There's all sorts of artifacts in there if you want to pop in and have a look. And that is the former governor's residence up there. It's got fountains. And that's where we used to go for our PCR test, do you remember?
Yeah.
And then that is the Macarius statue. There's his head there. They chopped it off and put it on a plaque for everyone to have a good look at. So let's go that way, down to the right. And this is what we call the Dimco Crossroads. And it sort of crisscrosses across itself. It's quite dangerous. Always make sure that there is nothing coming because they appear from absolutely everywhere.
And this building, my God.
It's a nice building.
It's a very nice, but it's
expensive.
It's
£500,000 for a two-bedroom apartment.
unbelievable.
750,000 for a townhouse. And if you want the top floor, it's got £1 million. So it's a bit out of our price list. Just. But hey, guess what? Jeremy and Simon Payne are in town. We may be able to have a little mosey on down and have a look in their wallets because there could be lots of money in there. Anyway, tree-lined little avenue, not the same one, but it is one. And this one's going to take us through the Universal area. And the first block coming up here is Hesperides Gardens. Now, when I came to Cyprus, I actually resided in Hesperides Gardens on the other side, and I lived in the penthouse. And I can promise you, it was a penthouse. It wasn't just an apartment on the top floor, it was a penthouse. It was spectacular. You opened the front door, you walked in, and there was a top to bottom glass window, looked straight out over the swimming pool. You had 2 bedrooms to the left, and you had 2 bedrooms to the right. A spectacular lounge, 3 en suites, and a bathroom. And it was very, very nice indeed. Receiving?
The roads here again is totally
Sherlock
Holmes.
Yeah. Absolutely terrible.
I'm trying to avoid, but it's not possible.
No.
Possible because, as you understand, the cars coming in and out, and somebody doesn't want to stop.
Yeah. But some of the roads, and we understand it's not just in Paphos, it's the same in the UK, it's the same in Germany perhaps, no, not in Germany, it's the same in France perhaps, but in Paphos at the moment, the roads, and certain roads, are absolutely diabolical. This road section we just come over, if you're doing 1 mile an hour and twiddling left and twiddling right, you still can't miss the potholes. They're absolutely everywhere. And if it's not a pothole, it's a loose manhole cover, it's a misfitting manhole cover. Anyway, that's all negative. Let's get all positive. We are rapidly approaching downtown Paphos. At this crossroads here, this is what we call the ring road. So it's the inner ring road from the Paphos Mall to the King's area that takes you all the way around up into Yeraskipu. So we're going to join it, shall we say, midpoint, and we are going to take a right. And we're going to travel along the inner ring road for about ½ a kilometre, and then we're going to take a left, and then we're going to take another left, and then a right, and guess what? We're going to arrive at the top of Bar Street. So stick with us. This area here, technically it's Universal, technically it's Cato Paphos. Very difficult to explain exactly where we are. So at this main traffic lights, there's a very, very big church. So that is the church that we're going to turn left at. If you were to go right, you'd go back into Paphos and you'd go up what is commonly referred to as Russian Road. Why is it called Russian Road? Well, without getting into the politics, there's a lot of people who live in that area who are of, should we say, Pontius. That's what they are actually called, which means they have Greek descent, but they come from some of the former Russian areas in the world, shall we say. Hence, it's called Russian Road. Receive it a bit?
And some of them, they bought houses, apartments, around these areas, by the way. Not too bad area to live.
No.
But it's very busy area. If you don't want this hustle and bustle of the cars and tractors and things, you shouldn't live there, because it's quite loud area, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's that many tractors driving around,
And
but you never know.
this
There we are. There's that church having a new dome put on top of it. So we've gone left. We're going to come to a T-junction at the end. There's a school to our left. At the end here, we are going to go left, and then very, very quickly, we're going to go right. So this is an area, got a lot of development, a lot of holiday apartments, and they are still building them as we speak. So we've gone left, and now we're going to go right. This is a one-way street, and there's a few bars and restaurants along it, and it's going to bring us to join on Bar Street. Yes, that's Mickey's. That's the Almond Tree restaurant. No idea what that one is. That's Daniel's International Restaurant. You've got a kiosk just over there. You've got the Georgia restaurant. Then you've got the First and the Last bar. You've got the Friends bar coming up to give people some references. Some people know these bars, some people don't. You've got the Baywatch bar coming up on the right. Obviously, we're going to go left because we are in a one-way system, if you understand now. And this is Bar Street. So let's wiggle and waggle up it. There's the Alconi Taverna. Alcione. Okay. There's the Robin Hood Inn. There's the Tropical Nights.
Robin Good.
Oh, Robin Good. That's the Red Lion just over there. That's the VIP. So that's Sally Briar's bar. That's the Flyers bar. Just next to that, over the road there, you've got the karaoke known as the Boogie Woogie. Out of Africa, you've got the Bubbles bar. That's possibly one of the most famous ones there. It's called Notorious. And now we come to the slightly less salubrious part of Bar Street. Most of this has been, well, vacated and left to go to rack and ruin. Well, slowly it's being cleared up, and some of them have been bought, and over the next couple of years, licenses and building contracts will be put in place, and hopefully it'll all be rejuvenated and come back even better than Bar Street Paphos ever was. Now, right at the very end there, you've got the Memories bar, and you've also got possibly the greatest fish and chip shop in the whole of downtown Paphos, and that is T&J's. So if you want some great fish and chips, that's where you pop on. And if you want to top it off or start it off, you can pop into the Keg and Barrel. Let's take a left. And then there's a new boy on the block there, that's called The Lodge. That's the South African restaurant, which used to be situated next door to the Olympic Lagoon Resort. And it's very, very recently relocated, and it does look very, very nice indeed. One of these days, I think, watching with Stevie on the booth, that's her and me, are going to pop in and sample their steaks. Anyway, it's that time. It's time for the very, very good goodbye. Stevie on the booth.
And I totally enjoyed my driving. I've never been shouted after so long. It means I'm a good driver. Just to show my hair. And I would like to tell you many thanks for watching, and how much we're loving you a lot and a lot. And don't forget to come and see another of our madness.
All that's left for me to say is thanks for watching. If you like what you see, hit the like, click subscribe, and come back for a little bit more of
Madnesses.
our madness.
Sis.
Thanks for watching.